Hi, boys and girls. I did a double take when I saw this on Sportsnet's page, but it's worthy of talking about. So, the Montreal Canadiens finally fired Michel Therrien. Um, Michel Therrien probably should have been fired last year, but because Montreal had the excuse of not having Carey Price and could use the excuse of having had all these injuries, they could also say, well, Michel Therrien didn't have a full lineup, so we can't fire him. This year, Montreal got off to a fantastic start, much like last year, and it's fallen apart. Now, by hiring Claude Julien, what Montreal has done right there is they've taken the team's reputation and improved it. Now, it doesn't improve Andrew Shaw's or Brandon Gallagher's, or if they get him, Alex Burrows's, but it does mean that you've got a better coach. When Julien was fired by Boston, I never said he was a bad coach. Go look, I didn't say he was a bad coach. After 10 years, this change needed to be made. But now what happens is Montreal gets Claude Julien. It makes total sense. He's French. His heart would be in this job completely. This would be his dream job. And now in the playoffs, he can meet Boston. And I personally am excited for that potential of having Cassidy against Julien in the playoffs. Um, and Claude doesn't seem like the kind of guy who's going to be petty and hold any kind of grudge, and I genuinely believe that he wished Boston the best when he left. But he'd relish knocking them out of the playoffs. And Cassidy would enjoy the challenge of going up against Julien, I'm sure. And so that whole feud ratchets up. Now, they're done playing each other in the regular season. There's no games between Boston and Montreal in the regular season. So the only way that they meet again is if it happens in the playoffs. Montreal had to do something, and they had to do it now. There's too many players that were slumping. There were too many baffling decisions being made about who was playing on what line. And Carey Price was clearly not Carey Price, and hasn't been Carey Price for a while. You can't trade Carey Price. You could change goaltending coaches. I don't think they're going to do that. So you change the head coach. What this does, it very nicely improves Montreal's standing without making a trade. And it does. This absolutely improves Montreal flat out. The team is going to be better. And I say that as a guy who I don't cheer for these guys. There's no lie in that. I don't cheer for Montreal. But I like Claude Julien and I want to see him do well. So at least I know he's gone to an organization that will treat him well. Marc Bergevin is a very good GM. He's had a bad run of luck, but he's a very good GM. And Claude Julien right now has all of the weapons he needs in Montreal to make it work. There's something I read today. I didn't even click on the article, but Montreal getting calls about Galchenyuk. Yeah, whatever. Montreal doesn't trade Galchenyuk. Montreal doesn't trade any of these guys. And I think this is going to be good for Pacioretty because I don't think Pacioretty's been happy playing for Michel Therrien for a while, and I think he'll enjoy playing for Claude Julien. It was just time for him to be out of Boston, and I think Bergevin realized Claude Julien wasn't going to be unemployed for very long, and he had to pull the trigger now. I expect that coming out of this 5 days off, that Montreal will be invigorated and really into the games and really invested in playing playoff hockey. And I know Claude Julien can do that for them. So if you're a Montreal fan, this is one of the best days that you've had in a long time. Because Therrien was not taking this team to the Stanley Cup. It wasn't going to happen. He managed just to step on his toes. For any step forward he takes 2 steps back. And I think we'll see with Julien, there's enough time. He's got a couple of weeks to evaluate talent. And hopefully he can get together with Bergevin and they can decide where to go forward with the team. Because there's a number of players in Montreal who, like Plekanec and Markov, guys who are past it. And there's no telling if the younger crew is going to be able to step in. So this is the time. And I applaud Bergevin for making the right decision. Mark Bergevin's been a very good GM, and I've defended him, same as I've defended Chiarelli in Edmonton. And I think this is another really good move by him. I think Montreal will now finish first in that division. I cannot see them falling back. And in terms of going into the playoffs, I now think they're a better playoff team because I think Claude Julien will have them ready. It's a whole new lineup for Julien. I think he'll be refreshed. I think he'll be excited, and I think it's going to be great. It's funny because I saw the headline on TSN or on Sportsnet, and I'm thinking, wait, is this real? Is this real? Um, Julien, who was fired by the Bruins last week, returns to the big city where he coached from 2003 to 2006, and he has coached before. Um, he was let go a little bit quick. Um, and yeah, it's the second time Julien replaces Therrien. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. I think Julien will be very good for the team this time around. The last 10 years he spent in Boston, he's grown as a coach. He's a very good coach. And yeah, so let me know in the comments below what you guys think of the move. I think it's a fantastic move for Montreal. I think it's a fantastic move just in general. Trade deadline's coming up, and there's not any trades happening. Everybody's a buyer. So the smartest thing to do is make the one move you can, which is change coaches. And it sucks for those coaches that get fired, and it makes it look really heartless, and it is. It's business. But Claude Julien, I think this time around will have a lot more success with Montreal than he did last time. And let me just take a quick look and see what his record was last time. All right, so I found it here. Claude Julien's record: 159 games coached for Montreal, 72 wins, 62 losses, 25 overtime losses. So spread it over 4 years. Then coached in New Jersey. He played for 79 games, 47, 24, and 8 record. And then coming into this past season with Boston, like 700 games coached. So I really think Montreal is getting back a better coach than he was the first time around. They made the playoffs twice under him before, and or was it once? See, now I got to check that because he had a 4-7 coaching record with Montreal. I got to check. That was a rough time too. Don't worry, guys. Just discuss things among yourselves. Claude Julien, 2003, 2004, 2004, 2005. So that was the lockout season. He was still the coach, or still the GM. 2003, 2004. So he never had Carey Price. This is a whole new team for him. So best of luck to Julien. Let me know in the comments below why this is a great move. If you think it was not a great move, explain to me why Michel Therrien was a better coach. I could use a laugh today. I think Michel Therrien is a half-decent coach, but I would not count on him to get a team to the promised land. And I think he has some problems in terms of interpersonal relationships on his team, and I think Claude Julien will excel at that. So let me know what you guys think, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, and I will talk to y'all again real soon.